Mike Owens with Inside Fighting here, joined today by Austin Hubbard, who returns to action this Saturday, UFC 307, facing Alexander Hernandez. Austin, always a pleasure, my man. How are things for you today?
I'm good, man. Just getting this weight down and excited for this weekend.
It must be good to be fighting back in an arena as well, because I felt like the last 5 out of 6 of your last fights in the UFC have been in the Apex. I know you had 292 in Boston where we caught up, but it must be nice to be fighting in front of a crowd on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a big opportunity, but I mean, honestly, I'm cool with either or. I don't mind the Apex. I know some fighters like love the crowd and this and that, which to me it makes no difference. I gotta go in there and just do what I gotta do regardless. So I don't really think about the crowd all that much.
I kept checking the Wikipedia page, and for the last couple of weeks, it's just had Austin Hubbard versus TBA, and then we heard this announcement. I think it was last week or maybe the week before that you're fighting Alexander Hernandez. Talk to me a little bit about getting this matchup booked. Were you always booked to fight on this card, and how did this fight come about?
Yeah, so I was booked to fight on this card. Initially, I think they wanted Nate to train. And I don't know what his reasoning was. I heard he needed more time. So that didn't happen. And then I didn't have an opponent for a while. And I was getting a little worried I wasn't even gonna end up on this card. And then luckily and they offered a few other names I said yes to, and then didn't hear anything back. And then about 3 weeks out, um, I got Alex Hernandez. I accepted the fight, and he accepted the fight. So here we are.
What do you think of the matchup?
He's tough. He's very talented. He's been around for a while. He came in. He had a big imprint on his arrival to the UFC and a good run. To start. I think he's maybe stumbled a little bit as of late. Obviously, coming off two losses, but I'm not taking that for a weakness. I'm thinking I'm preparing as if he's hungry, man. He don't want to lose three in a row. So I think he's gonna come out strong, guns a blazing, and it's gonna be a hell of a fight.
Traditionally, the way the people have defeated Alex is by putting a pace and a pressure on him, which is one of your strengths. That's what you kind of do. How important do you think that pace and that pressure will be in this matchup for you to get the victory?
Yeah, I think it's very important. As you said, pretty much most from what I've seen watching his fights, almost every fight that he's gotten pressured and just kind of bullied and in their face, and he's lost those fights. And every fight that he's had where he gets to fight at his pace, his range, and things like that, he wins those fights. So I think it's definitely a very important thing to keep in my mind. But realistically, that's just my fighting style. I go forward and I stay in their face regardless. So I think that you know that could work out for me. But he's a pretty athletic, talented striker. So I just gotta make sure I'm staying in good position and doing what I need to do to stay safe and but stay in his face, be effective, and just kind of make it a dogfight.
Is there one fight of his against one particular opponent that you're looking at and thinking, I can implement the same game plan that they did?
No, it just seems as if any fight that they're just in his face and pressure and hard and kind of just not giving up, he kind of loses those fights. So
Mm.
that's just more so the which works out for me anyways because that's how I fight is just stay going forward and staying in their face. So I just need to be me, be dynamic, and stay in good position. Just kind of be a bully out there and make it a fight.
How much do you think the elevation factor plays into it in Salt Lake City? I mean, I know that you're based in Denver, Colorado. I'm not quite sure of the differences in elevation, so you might have to help me out there, but how do you think that will affect the fight?
I don't think it'll affect it at all. I think Salt Lake City is actually lower than Denver.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yeah. So I'm used to training in Colorado. Granted, I didn't do this training camp in Colorado. I actually trained with Valley Flow Striking Academy in Chicago. Um, but I've I've trained out there for the past 8 years. So I think even still, my body is going to be, somewhat adaptive to that. And I know what to expect with that. So I don't think it'll be too much of a factor. I'm not foreseeing it being an issue. And I know he trains out in elevation as well. So, um, I don't think it'll be a factor.
Have you been out training with the new champ, Belal Muhammad, out in Valley Flow?
Yeah, I have. It's been a good experience. He has a lot of knowledge in MMA, and he's like fights just really smart. So, it's been good.
What was the reason for the change to get to move up to Chicago?
So the biggest motivation for the change is I had a baby 4 months ago, and I currently live in Illinois now. Actually,
Okay.
I'm born and raised in Illinois. I live in Dixon now. Me and my family moved back about a year and a half ago now.
Hmm.
Actually, it'll be 2 years in November around Thanksgiving. So, um, when I moved back, I was still going out there doing my training camps. But now that I have a newborn baby, that just wasn't feasible. It wasn't doable. I couldn't leave her.
Hmm.
I had to be there and help out my wife and just be there for my baby. And so that's why the change came.
How does fight camp change as a dad? Out of interest, does it make it more difficult or more easy?
Um, I would say difficult. It's just when I was training and I guess it's kind of both because like
Hmm.
there's a lot of talent out in Colorado. They're really good. I loved my training out there. But then you kind of get into your routine. All your training partners and those sorts of things. But when you kind of get out of your comfort zone, which I did in Chicago, and then you get all totally new looks. Everything's different. New bodies, new training partner, and their styles, and new coaching. It just kind of forces you to adapt and grow. And I feel like in that aspect is harder. So I'm excited to go out there and kind of see the results of uh the hard work I put in with Valley Flow.
I love it. I have to ask you about the weekend's action last Saturday because I've just got back from Paris where Renato Moicano defeated Benoit Saint-Denis in a little bit of an upset, certainly in enemy territory. What did you make of the main event between Moicano and Saint-Denis?
So I was watching the fights and then I actually missed that when I started watching it, then I had to do something and then it was over when I got back to from what I had to do. So I seen he got the second round finish TKO,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Which I'm impressed with him. He stays in the fight. You know, that guy's tough. He's proven that. And Moncano just kind of man, he keeps proving the doubters wrong. So
Mm.
I'm impressed with that.
Would you like to see Moicano face next?
I feel like you've got to give him someone in the top five. He's been on a great streak. He's getting finishes. So I imagine you got to start giving him someone in that top five.
100%, 100%. We've also seen recently Michael Chandler move on from the Conor McGregor fight because he's now facing Charles Oliveira at UFC 309. Do you think that was the right decision from Chandler to move on from McGregor, or do you think that fight's still possible?
No, I think that was the right choice, man. I don't know him personally.
Mm.
Obviously I've been around him on Ultimate Fighter, but he just does whatever he wants when he wants, and like you can't tell him nothing. So I think he's Chandler's been waiting what 2 years. Like who knows
Yeah.
when he'll actually come back because he's always off doing. And granted, McGregor's built himself up to he has so much going on and so many options and businesses. Like he's always making money just of being himself. So good for him in that aspect, but I think it pulls a lot from his fighting focus. And I think that's what we see, is that it's been 2 years and that fight still hasn't happened. So I think he made the right decision in moving on and taking a fight. I mean, because he's getting a little old as a fighter
Mm,
himself. So it's now or never. And, you know, you could be waiting another 2 years before you
yeah.
finally get McGregor to fight. Who really knows? So
Was there any key takeaway you took from spending time around Connor or Michael on The Ultimate Fighter?
I didn't I wasn't around him all that much. More
Mm,
more so just in passing. Just I was on the other team. I have a lot
mm,
more experience with Chandler, obviously, as
mm,
him. He was my coach. So I not really. Nothing I can really draw from.
mm. 100%. Well, last question from me, and thank you as always for your time. You can be as brief or as detailed as you like, but give me a walkthrough of the perfect fight day as you envisage it on Saturday. So, what happens when you wake up in the morning to when you go to sleep at night as you envisage it?
Okay, so you know, starting Friday morning, I wake up. I'm only 2 pounds out, losing easy. Rehydrate, refuel, eat. Wake up Saturday morning. It's fight day. I'm just ready as always. Uh, the fight gets there, and always ideally you want to finish. You want a quick finish in out, get paid, get a bonus if you can. So that's perfect world. That's what I want. But you know, I hope for that every fight. That doesn't ever happen. So, just hoping to have a great fight and entertaining fight and make some fans.
I love it. Well, always good catching up, Austin. Thank you as always for your time and look forward to seeing you back in action on Saturday night.
Of course, take care. Thank you.